Welcome to first impression or early review video of SVAROG'S Dream. I wanted to at least do something for this wonderful indie game made in Balkan. Played it for about 12 hours, started on max difficulty but quickly turned it back to default because it's not viable for first time players. Recently, Return of the Old Gods expansion got added to the game that brings alternative story and expands everything in the game. More enemy types, bosses, more combat in general with added faction wars, devotion to gods mechanic and many other things. So what is SVAROG'S Dream, you mythical bastards? It is a sandbox RPG focused on Slavic mythology. You are a soul under Velesh, an old god of the underworld that is allowed to choose the vessel to wander Earth and go do God's bidding. Game is supposed to be played in Iron Man mode, but I didn't in order to progress as much as possible. Without Iron Man mode, every time a player dies, the soul gets back to Velesh in the underground and a new vessel can be chosen. In total, there are a lot of possible characters to possess with different starting attributes. Upon re-entering Earth, the player chooses if they want to run with the same upgrades as before or respec. Such a system allows for continuous dynamic gameplay because of 12 available classes that can be multiclassed. Each character also has unique positive and negative talents, so there's always mixing and matching between classes, characters and available gear each time we die. I tried playing on hard immediately, but quickly decided that it's not a good idea. Was getting smashed left and right cause I didn't understand the game at first. After dying a couple times, Velesh asked me a question that I gave a disrespectful answer to, so he transformed me into a boar. That means no characters to possess. I was a boar, that's it. After dying about 3 or 4 times, Velesh asked me if I wanted to be a werewolf or a leshy. So I went with powerful werewolf. Properly powerful, but far from invincible. Basically the game was telling me that I suck, so here's a werewolf to have some degree of success. 10 out of 10 idea. However, werewolves can't enter settlements because they would get attacked immediately. I mean they can, but be prepared for a fight. Game allows transforming into other animals and beasts, but to be able to do that, a special hedgehog needs to be found that sells the amulets that allow transformation. Not gonna spoil all the other creatures, but it ranges from rabbits to golems. I love this idea as it adds another gameplay layer and adds to the playstyle variety. For example, if the player transforms into a wolf, other wolves will follow so that the player can have a pack of their own. Story revolves around the gods battling amongst themselves, and it's quite interesting. You are a pawn of theirs that needs to choose sides. Until Act 2 there's gonna be issues with Stribog, Triglav, one god versus old gods. Gods are well portrayed in a sense that they act corresponding to their domain and personality. Player chooses what gods they are going to be devoted to, and then by adding to devotion more bonuses are unlocked like protection from death, gods intervening during combat, passive bonuses and so on. Devotion is increased through God's favor mechanic. By doing various things in the world like killing enemies, breaking your own records, picking up herbs, each god is going to be pleased with some of the stuff that you're doing, which grants a favor. That favor is then used to either deepen the devotion or for instant rewards like remove negative talent, gain positive talent, next to couple others, and to affect order in the world. Order versus chaos. Player decides which is going to be the focus. With more order in the world, classes that are under order will have stronger abilities. Opposite for chaos. Nice mechanic that gives deeper significance to players' choices. Writing overall is okay, quite basic with information shared. Quests are handcrafted, even though more than a few play out as generic, but at least there is frequently something interesting going on. For example, a guy asks for gold to invest. Of course it's a scam, but if you give him the gold and find him afterwards, there's gonna be a nice backstory why he needs the gold. If you let him have the gold even after he admits it was a scam, he's going to be so positively surprised that he's gonna give you a fantastic bow. There's also one quest that immediately goes into legendary status, where someone shits in front of the house during the night and the player needs to find out what is going on. Not every quest has this type of interesting writing, but a lot of them do. One issue I have with the writing is that when the player starts asking questions, then the answers received in return are "who cares, it's not important, you don't need to know that," and similar conversation ending options. A bit disappointing. Overall good enough writing for the main story and quests with lots of interesting things happening. Could have been deeper in some aspects, but it's fine. World is quite well done. Night and day cycle where night is far more dangerous with the different enemies popping up. Constant events that create a bit of mystery or simply affect the economy. For example, the event was saying that werewolves have been scared off of the mountain, which is why there's gonna be more of them in the forests. Question is, what scared them? Then another event popped up that reduces gambling fee by half for the secret tavern reward roll. Oh, and inside the secret tavern you'll find strange patrons. Ogres, imps, skeletons. Skeletons that don't know they are skeletons. You know how in games they say stick to the roads for safety? SVAROG'S Dream follows that rule to heart. Literally, as soon as you step outside, expect everything happening. Monsters, ruins, lakes, dungeons, empty camps with nice rewards, Krampus that runs by, which is a version of treasure goblin in Diablo that needs to be killed to get the reward. World, even though empty at times, has tons of things to offer. Just sometimes it requires a bit more searching or something done to trigger the event. For example, I've stolen a helmet that is considered to be an artifact, and some demon came flying right into me when I was outside the city to destroy the artifact because it's what it does. Searches for artifacts and destroys them. Gave me a choice, either give the artifact and live or don't and die. Wasn't worth dying at the time because I had a good character, so gave it away. Order and chaos also affected the world. I'm not sure what way as I haven't played that long to see the results, but things like gambling pushes the world towards chaos, petting an animal towards order, killing humans and peaceful animals towards chaos again, killing beasts and monsters towards order. World events are affected by the soul state, meaning order and chaos. World is also divided by factions. Didn't get deep into factions to know how they function, so can't share any additional info. Also faction wars exist. Would have loved to experience factions more and especially faction wars, but no time. When death is around every corner, suddenly everything becomes more emphasized. That is why the gameplay loop is very addictive. Getting to that next step, to that next level up, finding or buying higher level gear. Areas of the world are full of high level creatures mixed with normal and low level, so it's easy to make a mistake and die, but thankfully there's an option to run away from most. Some creatures are fast, so kiting them back to the entrance of a city for guards to deal with them is mandatory to get away for good. Or another way, being an option to transform into a fast animal like the doe is beneficial to one's life. In my opinion, developers should have done a better job in organizing enemy levels in areas of the world. Discrepancy is often too much. Got chased early on by level 16 werewolves when suddenly level 55 werewolf appeared. It almost killed all of the guards too after I kited it back to the city gates. Would have been interesting to see how much havoc it would cause inside the city walls before being taken down. Anyway, the point is that levels are all over the place without much sense. Eventually, we have to stand and fight. It's a real-time combat with fast auto attacks mixed with abilities. Kinda basic overall, but does the job. With huge level discrepancy amongst enemies, most encounters finish fast, with few that might last a minute or two. There is some depth regarding enemy variety, and what I absolutely adore in RPGs, there's an almanac with all the info regarding enemies. Weaknesses need to be recognized during combat to obtain that valuable information, or by reading many texts scattered throughout the world of people recognizing the weaknesses themselves. Combat is more about building the character to reach higher power levels and then dismantling everything. I've played two types, dual-wielding Berserker Beastbane and Frost Mage. Very different experience. Playstyle diversity and getting to that higher power level is what kept me interested to explore and fight. One of the things that almost put me off combat are the sound effects. They are really bad, which makes combat less enjoyable, but thankfully not to the point of disliking it. Enemies from mythology, even though as basic as they are regarding attack variety and AI, are always fun to battle against. Especially when you don't know what is lurking around the corner. Vampire, werewolf, horde of skeletons, golem. With 12 classes and multiclassing, there are lots of playstyle options to play around with, so combat won't become dull fast, that's for sure. Outside combat there's some crafting to be done. Cooking, alchemy and upgrading weapons and armor. Easy to use crafting system that does its job well, but can take a bit of time. Even though it's in small increments at a time wasted while picking up herbs next to slow cooking, then alchemy can be annoying. Cooking needs to be sped up, no reason to have a bar filling up, just make it instant. To conclude, SVAROG'S Dream is a game I would love to continue playing, but due to time constraints I can't. So glad that the studio offered me the chance to experience it, because it's truly a brilliant indie game in the 12 hours that I've spent with it. Not amazing or a masterpiece or anything like that, but a good game that I've enjoyed more than I thought I would. Can't not feel a little bit proud when my Balkan people create such games as this one, the Talos Principle, Serious Sam, Underrail, and probably many more that I don't know about. With the expansion that brings so much more to SVAROG'S Dream and the fact it's 40% off on Steam till January 21st, there aren't many reasons not to try it out. There's more to it than meets the eye. Check out the description for page and subscribe to our merch, and thanks for watching.